y'all, it is filthy weather outside. I'm offended. This is like literally the most disgusting weather I've seen since yesterday. We've had like all the storms. We're on letter H, I think, storm H something, because we've had all the storms and it's only March. Like the whole of South Wales is flooded. It's the end of times. Right for God. Right, sorry, I'm Heather. I'm back for what I hope will be a quick video, but God only knows, like my lunch break is only so long, as you know. And this video will be a Q&A to do with hitting 500 subscribers, which I'm really chuffed about and I feel really thankful. And also all the questions that I got from everyone, there were a load of them. Thank you. It's like 800,000 percent more questions than I thought I would actually get. So like I'd like to do all of them. I've put them all in a jar because I like a bit of art and craft, I do. But actually there's so many of them, I'm not sure I'm going to get to them all on my lunch break. So we'll have to sort of be really quick. Like maybe if I just like talk about everything in motor mouth like this, you know, maybe it'll all work out. Also, while motor mouthing answers to questions, they're really good. I love your questions. Thank you so much. But while motor mouthing that, I'm also going to try to stick like vegan chili in my face. This is my husband's specialty now. He gets like the fake meat from Lidl's or Aldi or something like that. And he's perfected this to an art. Like, it's nice. So nice. I'm eating it cold, so I'm probably not going to eat this whole thing, but it's like basically what's left of the chili. So I can just eat as much as I want as long as I don't heat it up. It's fine. I'll just feed the rest of my kid later. It'll be fine. Okay, so in the jar, what have we got? Right. Okay, so the first question is, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you while on vacation, excluding the Kalima that just happened to me in Lanzarote? And I sort of had to look at this question first of all and had to think. And to be honest, I cannot think of the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me on vacation because I've gone to some pretty weird places for vacation. It sort of started with me and my friend being really poor and wanting to visit places but not being able to afford the places where things work properly. Do you know what I mean? And then I met my husband in one of these weird places, so also showing an affinity for liking weird places. So now we're just locked in this like 10-year relationship now where we can't bring ourselves to go to normal places. So a lot of weird stuff has happened to me in my life on vacation. I couldn't think of the weirdest thing, but I think I've nailed it down. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, story time now, story time. I'm gonna tell you the story of what was probably the weirdest 24 hours of my life. Okay, so I'm gonna be quick, because ain't nobody got time. It started, my friends and I, after university, my friend Kathy, we couldn't afford to go to a normal place, so we were like, shall we go like to Bosnia or like Serbia or something like this? And I was really into it. My dad spent some time in Bosnia during the war and stuff, like quite bad stuff, but he said it was delightful. He loved the crap out of Bosnia. Everyone was really nice, the food was really good, so I was like, we should go to Bosnia. They don't, you know, they're recovered from the war now, you know, they're rebuilding, it's fine, let's go. So we started out on a train and we sort of went through Eastern Europe, we did Romania, blah, blah. The only way that we could get to Bosnia was through Belgrade. So we were on the train, we were talking to all these lovely people that are from Serbia, you know, we were doing drinking games, we were doing guessing games, really fun. We finally show up to Belgrade, it's really late at night, it's maybe 9, 10 p.m., something like that, and the girl on the train, she was from Serbia and she was giving us advice. She's like, right, you're going to Bosnia, are you? And we're like, yep. She's like, okay, I know exactly what you need to do. You need to go to the bus station. You need to do it tonight because the buses fill up. And she was like, you need to get the bus to blah, blah. You know, we're like, okay. She's like, if you get the bus to blah, 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 you're going to be in some serious trouble, okay? You need to make sure, like, are you listening? You need to get the bus to blah, blah, not blah, blah. And we're like, okay. Bus to blah, blah, not blah, blah, because there will be consequences. Okay, so we say goodbye. Everyone goes off into their like lovely, warm, delightful houses where their mothers are cooking like delightfully scented foods. And we're just like out in the cold going, what do we do now? We got to find a hostel. We're just like at the train station, like bereft really at night. So we find this Mexican guy, as you do in Serbia. He's like, North Americans, let's all hang out together. Let's find a hostel, blah, blah. So we all go to the bus station and we immediately see a dead body on the ground. So, as you do, why not? And there's just like a white sheet strewn over it and there's a bunch of cops standing around smoking. And it sort of reminded me of that time like when I was a kid and my cousin like spilled milk or like juice or something all over the kitchen and then just like laid a towel over the top. Like, well, I've sorted that now, and then left. Like, it was a bit like the cops were just like, and sheet, now that's done. Let's have a chat and like a smoke around this like guy in the bus station. People were just like partaking of normal bus things, you know, sitting, having snacks. Dead guy in the middle of the street, I don't know, or in the middle of the floor, I don't know why. So we're like, that's a bit weird, but never mind. We go up to the counter and they're like, okay, you're going to Bosnia, which bus do we want? And now, suddenly, you saw this coming, didn't you? You saw it coming. Suddenly, we're like, was it the bus to Bloody Blah or the bus to Blah that was the bad one? And I was like, I'm definitely sure that the one to the Bloody Blah was the good one and the Blah was the bad one. And my friend's like, no, I'm pretty sure it was the Boobity Boo. And I was like, we didn't even mention the Boobity Boo. Don't even know what you're on about. So we just guess, right? We just get on. We don't know which one it is. We're just like, you know, Godspeed, go forth, get whatever bus ticket we can. Like, what is the worst that can happen? Because the girl at the train did not discuss the consequences in detail. She just said that there would be some. So, I mean, maybe it's that you have a slightly worse lunch. You know, how do we know? Maybe it's that we get murdered. So we get tickets and we go to this hostel. We found a random one. And in the bathroom, it's like a guys and girls bathroom together. And in there, doing some shaving with a very sharp blade, is the most enormous man I've ever seen. And he says something like, you know, how are you? Making like really weird, awkward like conversation over the sink, you know? And he's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm from Srebrenica. And I was like, oh, where have I heard of Srebrenica before? Like, I couldn't in my mind just like think of like, where's Srebrenica? And then I realized exactly where I know it from like a terrible event in history, like a massacre. And I just like, I have the worst verbal diarrhea. Like, I just, as soon as I have any kind of epiphany or memory at all, I just burst it out. I'm like, oh yeah, that time you had thrush. Yes, and it was very invasive and there were student doctors. Yes, I remember, you know, like, I have no filter. I just sort of say it. And I was just like, girl, Heather, do not say massacre right now. Do not look this man in the eyeballs and say the word massacre. And it was just like very uncomfortable because I have no control. Anyway, so go to sleep. The Mexican guy tries to grope my friend in the night, as you do. It's a backpacker's thing. You know, she just punched him in the face and he was like, okay, we're not doing that. So that was the end of that. We wake up the next morning. We have our bus tickets for early. We're like, how much money do you have? We have very little actual money that's going to work in that country. And we're like, what can we get with this, do you think? We go to this bakery and we're like talking to each other. We're like, okay, if we get one bread roll, we can split it between us. And then we'll get like a slice of cheese. And that should do us for the rest of this journey until we get there. So we go into this bakery and we're sort of looking at our money. And then we start looking at the prices of all this stuff. And we're like, oh, okay. We look at each other and we're like, start ordering things. We're like, okay, we'll take 6 of those. 4 of those, 22 of those things. Yep, we're gonna need extra jam on that one. Like, oh, it's like ridiculously cheap. And like the woman behind the counter has the most like scrunched up, horrible face I've ever seen in my life. Like, she was like, how dare you order things from my counter? Anyway, we get this like massive pile of food and we take it in this like massive bag to this like side of the road thing, like a sort of stoop thing. We're sitting on the stoop and we're waiting for a time when we can board the bus. And up comes this like ridiculously small car. It's like ridiculously small, like a bug type car, right? And it sort of squeals to a stop. It's like speeding, it squeals to a stop. And 1,000 like huge men get out. It's like, where did all these men come from and how did they get in there and why are they still coming out? It's like Mary Poppins handbag, like a clown car, you know, like just like dudes just coming out, just coming out, just coming out. They're massive, you know, and they've all got really girly handbags just sort of hanging by. Like my friend and I were like, this is not good, but we're looking down, right? We're averting eye contact. We're trying to be small, you know, unnoticed. So these dudes are like standing on the street, right? And then all of a sudden we see them spot this like skinny dude and the skinny dude stops, you know, he's like still, he's like, oh shit, I'm in some shit now. And like one of the burly dudes just sort of stands next to him, puts his arm around him, like grips his shoulder and he says, blah, blah, you know, I don't speak Serbian. He's like, blah, blah, blah. And then another guy like grips him as well. Like, he's got like 2 burly dudes on each side. We're talking, you know, jovial, like, blah, blah, blah. And then they force him into the clown car. Like there was going to be space in there for another dude, right? They just all like pile back in, like doo 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 doo, and they just speed away. So we're like, first of all, the weirdest part of that was the handbags, right? I'm telling my dad later, I'm like, Dad, the burliest dudes just kidnapped a dude on the street in a clown car wearing handbags. And he was like, baby girl, that's where they keep their guns. And I was like, how am I not dead? I have no sense, No sense whatsoever. Anyway, so we're like, let's get the hell out of Belgrade. Why is it so crazy? Probably it's just by the train station. Like every city by the train station is just crazy. You know, even Seattle, like some crazy people hang out by there. Anyway, so we're about to get on the bus. We're not sure which bus we're going to, and we're not sure how much money we need to pay in advance of whatever. Like we don't know how the rules work. So we go up to this guy. We finally identify that this is the bus we want, but very quickly realize, and you saw this coming, didn't you? Everyone saw this coming. It's the wrong bus. The guy is shitty to us. He's terrible to us. Like, we didn't really understand why. We do now. Okay? We completely understand that when you go to Republika Srpska from Serbia, you know, to there as an American, it's just generally not going to be good for you. But anyway, the man was terrible to us. He was very rude. He was like going, blah, blah, and we're like, Jesus fuck, and he was huge, you know, and he was like talking to other people on the bus about us and pointing. He'd like say to the person here, and he'd be like, you know, and then they'd turn around and go, like, it was already going badly, and we hadn't even gotten on the bus yet, but we had committed. Like, when you pay the money, you get on the bus, okay? Especially because the alternative was to stay in Belgrade a little bit longer, and we were not for that. Okay, so we're on the bus. And like, we're going along. We're just like praying to God, like, what are these consequences that are going to be at the other end? You know, also, are we going to make it there? Are we going to die? So they stopped the bus, right? At this like this side road stop, you know, where everyone gets off to pee. And there was like a natural spring. It's in Bosnia. And like, Bosnia is gorgeous. It's mountainous. It has like really natural, like gorgeous tasting spring water and everything. And there was this mountain spring sort of just springing up, and everyone's just like reaching down and drinking it. And we're like, oh Jesus, like we need some of that water. Like we're so thirsty. We're like, oh, we need some of that water. But it's like a deer, isn't it? Like when you reach down to drink from the spring, like what's going to get you from behind? Like it's just like open to predators, right? And we're like, these people on the bus, man, they're going to kill us. So we had to be like, okay, like we'll get each other's back. So as my friend's like reaching down into the pool, I'm like, I got you, baby girl. Like I got one hand on her while she's got her like back, you know, to the predators. I'm like eyeing everyone. I'm like, I got this, baby girl. I got you. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen. They'd like knife us, or just like fucking, like more likely just leave without us, just fuck all the way off, and we'd just be left at this mountain stream. Anyway, so we get to Bosnia. This story has to be quicker than this. I'm so sorry. I did not realize how long the story was gonna take, and like have a lot of questions left. We may have to do like a second round. I don't know. We get to Sarajevo, right? And obviously we're in the bad place, the place where you don't want to be because we've taken the wrong bus. We wander around that shit for ages. Literally nothing, nobody. Everyone just sort of disperses into their lovely cars, and we're just stuck there. It's like, what, 10, 11 p.m.? No idea what's happening, no idea where anyone's going, blah, blah. We don't know how to get to the place that we need to get to. Like, we've set up in Sarajevo before that a couch surfing situation. So it's like you go online, you register, and then you sort of like find other people who are registered and they have reviews and everything, and you just basically stay with them on their sofa or in their spare room or whatever, and they just host you. Like, it can be a bit dodgy, but as long as you know, pick the ones that have loads of really good reviews and are really open and not dodgy, you know, it was really good. Like, we didn't die once, you know, we were never raped. It was fine. But we're like, okay, so how do we get to the main part of Sarajevo out of this like shithole part in order to meet up with our couch surfing guy who we couldn't get a hold of on the phone? So finally we're wandering around for ages, and we see this guy saying goodbye to his dad at his house with his kid. And the guy sort of looks and he's like, oh, you know, what's up with you guys? You know, like, are you lost? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, my dad is actually going back to the city and he's a cab driver, you know, like, lucky for you that you were able to take advantage of this, because if my dad wasn't going back right now, you know, we never would have seen you. You'd just be stuck here all night. And we're like, shit, this is going to be expensive. Like, we like looked at that old man, like he didn't speak any English, and he looked like a lovely grandpa, but you could see in his eyes, you know, he had us by the ball sack and he knew it, you know. He's like, oh, like, how much money can I get for literally saving these girls' lives? Anyway, I don't know how much we paid, but it was like, it had to be pooled. Like, none of us had enough money just by ourselves. Anyway, we get there, we can't find the guy, we can't get a hold of him or anything. We're like, should we just get a hostel for the night? Finally, we get a hold of this guy, and he says, I'm outside. We're like, you're outside on foot, you're outside, like, we're gonna walk to the bus, you're outside in a car, I don't know, whatever. Finally, we get, like, we find him, we go out there and we see him. And this guy with, like, a really intense accent. Like, it's not a Bosnian accent, but we're not sure what kind of accent it is. He just sort of yells from the window. He's like, girls, I am here in car. He's like, please get in the car. And we're, like, looking at each other, right? Like, we have no idea what's going on. And our general threshold for craziness and risk is, like, quite high. Like, we're cool with, like, a higher level of shit being weird than normal people, but, like, we're not, you know, hugely naive. We tend to know, you know, if we're about to die. So we're sort of, like, looking at each other, we're like, you know, is this gonna be acceptable? Like, how do we feel about this? Are we doing this? And finally we're like, okay, yeah, we're doing this. So we get in the car. He's telling us a story about why he's late and he couldn't be contacted and he's really sorry. But he was having a hard time getting in his car because he's broken his leg. We're like, you've, sorry? Broken your leg? Is this some sort of translation problem? Blah, blah. But I look around, and indeed, he's driving this car in a cast. It's a full leg cast. And he's just, like, fucking driving a car with this leg cast. And also, while I look and see that he's got a leg cast on, I also see he's drinking a beer. So, this random guy ends up being Turkish guy, lovely, delightful, driving away very quickly with a broken leg and a beer, and we're just in the back. And progressively, he starts driving away from the town, up a really tall mountain into the darkness. And we're like, you know, this is not right, you know? My friend starts giving me, like, eyes to sort of indicate about the knife she keeps in her boot. She's like, I'm like, shh, just like, you know, trying to, like, chill things out. I'm like, calm down. Start asking, you know, like, friendly pointed questions like, oh, this is a delightful area. Do you live up this way? He's like, no, it's my friend. My friend lives up this way, but he doesn't give any more information. He's just very, like, low on the amount of information he's given about his friend living up in, like, this dark ass mountain bit. And we were pretty sure we were gonna die. But anyway, we didn't. We ended up back at his house with his friend. It was very warm and cozy, and we had a delightfully classy Italian meal. So you just never know where you're gonna end up in life. That's what I think. I gotta be way quicker about these next ones. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh! Who do you think was the best Eurovision winner? I'm obsessed with the Eurovision. And this question actually did require me to think about it for a really long time, and I've written what I thought on the back. Okay, my thoughts are, favorite one of all time is Celine Dion's win. Was that like 1988, 1987, 1986? Like roughly in that area. It's like Ne Partez Pas or whatever. Fire. I love that. It's a bop. But I'm thinking, does it really count because it was so far away? Like, is it my favorite of all of the ones, or is it my favorite of the ones sort of in my time of watching Eurovision? So I moved to the UK and learned about the Eurovision in 2010, 2011, something like that. So since then, what's my favorite one? And I think as a song, like something to dance to in a gay bar, is Llewellyn, Euphoria. That's the best bop when you're dancing. But if I think about the best story of a winner, you know, the one that I was most happy that they won was like the Salvador guy from Portugal who won a few years ago. Like, Portugal had literally never won before. It'd been like 60 years in the Eurovision or something like that, and they'd never won. And finally, this cute little shy dude with like a really cute, lovely, like romantic, slow song just like pulled out of the bag, and I thought that was the most beautiful story. Anyway, I love the Eurovision. I've got the new 2020 songs that are out already on a playlist at work, ready to go. Okay, this one is, what do you watch on YouTube aside from BookTube? Other than Eurovision videos, which I've already talked about, I do a lot of Eurovision video watching at work on YouTube. Other than that, BookTube is pretty much it for my sort of leisure watching the YouTubes. Mostly what I watch on YouTube is like how-tos, you know, like I need to know how to do some sort of watercolor thing, so I'll look at the how-tos, or like I need to know how to get mold off my ceiling, you know, look at the how-tos. That's basically what I use YouTube for primarily. Though there is this one channel called like something like that I found recently that I'm like weirdly attracted to, about this girl who has multiple personalities, and she lets each of her personalities come to the front and have their own video. And I find it weirdly like addicting. But anyway, okay, next one. Who would play you in a movie biopic of your life? Okay, good question. I've always thought really that Hilary Duff would do it for me, okay? But she's the same age as me. I think literally the exact same age, born in the same year. And, you know, my life doesn't start now, does it? It would need to be someone younger than me in order to portray the earlier me. And I was thinking about it. And there's that girl in Centrinians or whatever. Is her name like Chloe Mackey? There's like two sisters. There's like Mackey sisters and they're blonde, right? But I always thought, like I was thinking, you know, since they're younger, they would better be able to portray me as a younger person. But that's just me. Okay, next one is, oh, your greyhound adoption story. Okay, I didn't write down who these were, but I think this one's Liz Schubert because she also likes the greyhounds. I have two greyhounds, and that is because when we went to get the one greyhound, they punked us, right? So we had a greyhound before, and he had like this terrible accident, you know, like I don't even want to talk about it, it's gonna make me cry, but like he had like a meds reaction and like his throat closed up, like I don't even want to talk about it. But he died. And then like a couple years later, we're like, okay, we're ready to have another dog. And we don't even want to be messing around with these other kinds of dogs. Like we know that we're in love with greyhounds. We just want to go and get another greyhound. So we go to the Greyhound Rescue Wales. And we say our profile and what we like, blah, blah, what our lives are like. And they're like, okay, we'll match you with a dog with like a temperament that we think is going to be best for you. And we're like, okay, that's awesome. So Hank comes into the picture and they're like, so this beautiful black enormous boy dog, he's here, you can come and walk him, you know, chat to him, see if you're a good fit, and if everything's okay, you can take him home. And we're like, sounds delightful. We brought a big dog bed. We're like, are we leaving without the dog? Unlikely, you know. So we go and we meet them, and the person's like, okay, so this is Hank, you know, much cuddles. But also on this walk, hope you don't mind, we're also going to bring his kennel mate because it's also her walk time. It's nothing to do with you, You don't have to take her, obviously. It's just also her walk time. So we thought we'd do, you know, two birds with one stone. And we're like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, bring her along. So we go for ages on this walk, having a lovely time. The two dogs playing delightfully, running through the marshes, you know, and just having an amazing time. And then it comes to the end. And we're like, okay, Hank, get in the car. And then the other ones just sort of sat there watching us go. We're like, no, not you. You stay there. And she's like, but Hank's getting in the car. What am I supposed to do? And we're like, no, we're not taking you home. You have to stay here. So obviously we came back the next day and we're like, put the dog in the car. And they were like, are you sure? This is a big decision. We're like, put the damn dog in the car. Obviously we're taking it home now because seeing it watch us drive away was so heartbreaking. We're back. We don't have room in our car for two dogs or in our house because it's a tiny house, but just put her in the car. We were very angry with them for that, but also how delightful is our lives now that we have Hank and Maisie, you know? We've had them for I think 8 years, 7 years, something like that. You know, she steals food. Every time a sandwich goes missing, it was definitely Maisie. So there's that. Okay, also on here, it's a 2-question hitter. Best and worst things about living in the UK/Wales. And I'm going to say the worst thing, I've written it down because I don't want to forget. No plugs in the bathroom. What the fuck, UK? Why are there no plugs in the bathroom? How am I supposed to do my hair? Do a heater while I'm in the bath? You know, curl something, blow dry something. You know, I don't need to shave anything, but if one was to shave something, how would one do that? You know, that's pointless. Like someone told me once that it's to do with electricity and like water or whatever, but how is it that every house in America has one of these and, you know, it's been fine my whole life? Another really bad thing, everything's too fucking small. Every building, every car, everything, every road, there's not enough space for that. I need more space, okay? I'm not even a big person. I just want to have breaths like this, like, yes, okay? Other sort of obvious things, obviously, like I miss my family. I miss the food that I grew up on when I'm ill. You know, you just want like a comfort food. Like obviously they don't have American comfort food here, so I get a bit sad. But basically, the number one thing is the bathroom plugs because, you know, I'm not having it. Anyway, best things. The travel situation is 100% ideal. In America, it's just like America for hundreds and hundreds of miles, you know? Like, if you're living in Colorado, like I was at one point when I was in high school, like, it's just America for thousands of miles on all sides. There's no leaving America unless you want to pay crazy amounts of money. Whereas in the UK, you know, you can go anywhere. You can go to Spain, you can go to France, you know, there's loads of places you can just fly to for super cheap because it's like a bounce, you know, it's not even that far. I've seen so much of the world and like experienced so much just since moving here and like using it as a jumping point to the rest of the world, which has been really good. Also, the healthcare and family leave situations are particularly ideal, especially compared to America. I had 13 months of maternity leave that were paid through my work, and then I came back part-time, and then when I wanted to come back full-time, they were just like, yeah, okay, we can do that, and they were very cool about it. Loads of things about this coronavirus going around. People back home are like, Jesus Christ, like if I get coronavirus, I can't report it because I can't afford that kind of care, you know? Whereas I know that in the UK, if something happens and we get that, you know, we're covered, you know, it's gonna be okay. Like, Jesus Christ. Also, like, Welsh language and culture and stuff is super, super interesting and gorgeous, you know? I love the history of Wales, I love the language, I love the literature and everything, and I had no idea what I was missing when I lived in America, because in America, like, you know, everything is so well funded and like so much American stuff comes at you all the time. It's hard to sort of see through the American noise to other things that aren't American. You know, you sort of miss out on like a global experience. But anyway, that's that one. Okay, what have I got? Holy shit, I'm not doing good. I'm doing bad, folks. I'm doing bad. I haven't touched my food for ages. Okay, this one is, who or what got you into reading? How did you come across BookTube? So, I think in general what got me into reading was my dad, because he's always been like a huge reader, and I think just probably I've absorbed that through osmosis. Just in my life, whenever I came to see him, he was always reading, and I'd like sit on his lap or whatever and like read my own little books. And I'm trying to do that with my kid as well. Like, I think because she sees me reading so often, she's also more open to like reading for fun, whereas other kids whose parents just sort of watch TV or whatever, they're not really as into it. And how did you come across BookTube? My friend Rahaf in work was like, you know what you should do? You should do a YouTube channel to do with books. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then that's when I first started like just Googling what YouTube to do with books was. And I had no idea that there was a whole world of BookTube until that point. And then she's like, you should do your own channel. And I was like, no, I'm so shy. I don't like the limelight. I don't want to be, you know, at the front of things. And I was like, basically in the end, that lasted about 4 seconds. And then I just did it. Jumped all the way in. So yeah, I never looked back. I love BookTube, and I love all the people that I've met through BookTube. And I love that when I asked people for questions for a Q&A, I got 84,000 of them because the love is strong with BookTube friends. I feel the love, okay? But anyway, moving on. Okay. Oh shit, there's so many. What's your favorite food? Burritos, the vegan kind, but burritos, definitely. What was your fave book when you were 15? Okay, so I'm like thinking back, 10th grade, St. Mary's High School, roughly, probably whatever Harry Potter book had just come out. I don't know the timeline, but that's what I'm guessing. Or, I also remember reading The Da Vinci Code in my desk behind another book. I had like a math book or like a social studies book or something, like a textbook open, and the Da Vinci Code like inserted in behind it at my desk, and I was reading it as we were going because it was so good and I was so hooked. So like either Harry Potter or the Da Vinci Code at that time. Okay, my question is, what is a book or books that you dream or wish to read but doesn't exist because nobody has written it yet? Okay, this one has messed with my mind for ages because when I saw it, I was like, I know that this is going to obsess my thoughts for roughly ages. And I think what I decided in the end was, I would like a book that follows roughly my fantasies for the last 20-ish years to do with being absorbed into a show of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, right? Not like the real life thing, but just the show with all the same characters and all of the same things that have happened, you know, like when the little boy fell out of the tree and his head had to be cut open to like release pressure, whatever. Like I want that to have happened, you know? I want all the things to be the same as in the show, but I've been like, I don't know, like absorbed into it. I become like another character in Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, but I want to remember my own thoughts, you know? Like I don't want to be, you know, a person from the 19th century living in the 19th century in Colorado. Like, I want to be a 21st century girl with 21st century memories and a memory of being absorbed into the show, you know, and then just sort of like being a new character, and everyone accepts that I'm a new character. They're like, oh, you're Sarah, right? You're new. And I just want to be like that. And I want there desperately to be a book that's exactly like that, because I know I'm not a good enough writer to do it. And also, who has time? Okay, so I need someone to get on that promptly. Anyone want to take that on? Ooh, that's the bell. Lol. My kid's book day costume has come in the mail finally, because book day is literally tomorrow. Like, can I be cutting it anymore? Okay, next one. What did you major in? Okay, in University of Washington, go Huskies in Seattle. I majored in, it was a double major, like a sort of joint honors thing, political science and communication. And I think that you will find in my work now, I do nothing to do with any of those things. So it was a lovely time. It was very expensive. I drank quite a lot, got quite good grades, read a lot of really good stuff, and then left it completely behind me so that I could work a desk job that means nothing. So, you know, good 40 grand well spent. Okay, so next one is, how do you relax? Probably reading in my pants. How do I relax? God, I don't know, that one's hard. Do I relax? Spend a lot of my time being late to things. Probably reading. Yeah, probably, you know, coming home, doing a bunch of stuff, and then for approximately 8 seconds, reading on my sofa in my pants, which is delightful. Thank you. Okay. How did you and your husband meet? What is the story behind you moving to Wales? So, on the other thing to do with weird vacations, my friends and I went to Romania, as you do, because we heard that it was really cheap. And we were on the train and we were going to Bucharest. And we ran into this guy from North Dakota. I don't remember his name. I just remember he was from North Dakota. And I was like, of course you're here. Who wants to be in North Dakota? If you're from North Dakota, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It's probably actually really gorgeous there. Like, you know, they probably way better weather than I'm experiencing right now. But anyway, so we're on the train. We're going to Bucharest. And the guy from North Dakota says, I'm actually going to get off at Transylvania. And we're like, can you just do that? He's like, yeah, I've just decided it right now. And we're like, but can you do that? He's like, yeah, watch me. And he's like, goes to get off. And we're like, should we get off? Should we get off? Should we get off? And we're like bumping into each other. We're like getting our stuff. We're like, should we get off? Should we not get off? We're going to Bucharest, blah, blah, blah. In the end, we did just get off the train at a completely unexpected stop. We had no idea where we were going. We had no idea what it was going to be like there. We didn't know what the name of the town was or any of the town names in Transylvania. We had no desire to actually go to Transylvania at all. So we get off in Brasov and we follow Mr. North Dakota to the hostel that he has decided already that he's having, which was called like the Kismet Dow hostel or something like that. And that is where I met my husband. He was from Wales, which I thought was very exotic, and he was like speaking Welsh to me, and I was like, oh my god, you're so cute. And we went for a drink, and then after that we made out for a bit, as you do when you're a backpacker and you've been drinking. And then he gave me his email address and we like emailed for the rest of that time. My friend and I went back home, and then later on he sort of said, you know what I'd love to do? I know you live in Colorado. I'd love to go to Wyoming, you know, but I never thought that I'd ever get there. Is it cool if I like come visit you and we'll do like a road trip, all of us, to Wyoming? So we did that. And then after that road trip, I just quit my job and followed him home. I didn't even know what was going on. Like, if you're American in the UK, you can have up to 6 months sort of unvisaed, if you will. You know, you get like a sort of 6 months visitor's visa just for sort of showing up with an American passport. And I was like, well, I'll just ride this 6 months then. And then we ended up getting married in that time because my visa was gonna run out. So, married for a green card, ladies and gentlemen. As you do. Okay, next one. Favorite book and genre. Okay. I feel like this one is super hard. It's too hard, really. Okay, wait. Okay, so in sort of preparation for this one, I knew it would be a bit hard. I put down all of my favorite books. Like, the ones that I can definitely think of as being my favorite books. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books on here. And then I tried to whittle it down, right? I tried to like narrow it down to at least 5, okay? And I just can't, because I love them all for different things. You know, one can't sit in the place of another one because it's so different than that one. And it serves different bits of my needs. Okay, so I'm just going to say what it is. Tree Grows in Brooklyn, all of the Harry Potters, Rebecca, Outlander, Emma, Meddling Kids, Badass Librarians of Timbuktu, The Stand, Poisonwood Bible, Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, How Green Is My Valley, and Skinwalker. And basically, that's a gazillion different genres and different like kinds of books and everything. And I feel like those 12 books really represents my reading interests very well. I'm sorry. That was a really crappy answer. Like, that was a cop-out, wasn't it? I cheated. I'm sorry. Okay. What is your work, or what do you do in your job? So, the place that I run off to every day after these things in order not to be fired, I work at Cardiff University as the student cases person for the politics programs. So, like, I do, like, extenuating circumstances and stuff like that. Like, if someone, like, gets mugged on the way to an exam or something, they can file a thing with me and say, this is why I missed my exam, I got mugged, here's evidence of me getting mugged, you know, police report or whatever, and then I go, fair play, yes, that was a legitimate reason for missing your exam, you can redo it, it's fine. Or sometimes they put in like really crappy things and I'm just like, well, obviously that's not okay, you know, like you can't just not come. Anyway, that is what I do. Okay, ooh, we're getting down to the bottom. How long have you been doing calligraphy and watercolor? So, a couple of years ago, maybe 2-3-ish years ago, I used to work at the same university, Cardiff University, but instead of working in the politics school, I worked in the business school, and there were loads of people doing what we did. So we originally needed just a crazy amount of people to do what we were doing, but then sort of they changed the process, and all of a sudden we did not need that many people, but it was sort of slow in changing. So we had no work to do, and we used to like go to people and be like, please can I have more work? Please can I have more work? And just in the end, we're like, well, we're just gonna have to find a way to, you know, sort our time out. So I started bringing in art supplies to work. And that is when I took up calligraphy, watercolor painting, post-crossing, crochet. I started a lot of my hobbies. And I think that's maybe the beginning of where my hobbies went out of control. Like I only had maybe like slightly too many before that. And now I just have way too many hobbies. Because I had to fill my days with hobbies at work. Okay, last one. Ooh! Do you quilt, crochet, knit, etc.? Yes. I would love to quilt, but I don't do that. What I do is crocheting. And I've been crocheting a blanket since my kid was born, or before then. Like when I was pregnant with her and I wanted to be like the uber mother, you know, like crocheting with like a huge belly, blah, blah, blah. So I started it then. And then in a really cruel trick, my kid was born literally the first day of my maternity leave. And I didn't really get all that time I thought I was going to get, being like a lovely, like pregnant, glowing woman, having all this time off. So basically I'm still working on it, and she's 5 is the answer to that story. But I really, really like quilts. Like I got this book recently that I'm going to read for Dowie-thon. Oh shit. It's called Welsh Quilts by Jen Jones, and it's to do just basically like cultural tradition of like quilts in Wales and stuff, and like what they mean and sort of different patterns and traditions and stuff. I'm really super excited about that. Okay, I definitely have to go. I'm really sorry if this was like a motor mouth thing, way too long video. Thank you so much for all the subscribers, like 500 subscribers. Like it is really, you know, I'm really chuffed at that. Thank you. And also, when I put out the thing for Q&A, all of the questions I got ridiculous amount of questions. Thank you so much. Like, I love BookTube, and I feel the love for BookTube, and I hope that I'm going to be around for quite a long time longer, just to meet loads more people, and like, I don't know. It's just a lovely community, man, and thank you so much. Okay, I have to go to work now. It is literally 1:07. I don't know if you can see, but that's 7 minutes past the time I was literally supposed to be there, so. Okay, I love you. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.